welcome to Picture This Film Reviews episode. Is it number 13 now that we're on? 13, 14, something like that. So don't do that face. So we
14.
are 14. Oh my gosh, we were on episode 14. And last week we had talked about that we were going to start doing some comedy movies. And it started out with my pick, which was Princess Bride by Rob Reiner. So that's what we will be reviewing this week. We are a person down, the news guy, so we will be very slim on news, if any. I will probably just throw one thing in there. But Seth is missing today, everybody, so boo, Seth.
Yeah, keep an eye out for him.
Actually, hopefully he is breathing and okay, because we have not heard from him. But we are going to go on regardless. And
we're gonna put him on a milk carton tomorrow if we don't hear anything.
Oh,
yeah, for real.
Yeah, so you'll see that missing child's thing on Facebook, and it will just say Seth, age, whatever Seth is, all that jazz. But so we are, I guess, so really at this point, we would be asking everybody how their week went and what they did. But I'm going to start out with Dan today. So what did you do in the past week, Dan? Did you have a good week?
I had a great week. Weather's starting to get a little turned. Seems to be warmer some days, colder in the mornings though. But yeah, man, get ready for the summer season. Let's get that warm weather cranking. But no, things are starting to pick up at the store where I am, which is super exciting. And then I know we typically go over what kind of movies that we watch, but I actually want you to tell us what movies we watched. I already know.
Okay, so we actually, and this is my first time ever, we watched the first 3 Indiana Jones movies.
Wow.
We binged all of them. Like, what was it, like Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We watched back to back. And this was my first time ever. I had watched The Crystal Skull when it came out, and I had like no reference, but also it was not a very good movie. So I was like,
this is a horrible one to start on.
Screw this movie. But anyway, we were in a Harrison Ford type of mood for whatever reason. And I have to say that, Indiana Jones, I think, is like one of the coolest characters ever created. And Harrison Ford, I don't think there could have been a better person to ever play this character, and I hope they never remake any of him being recast, because I think he was born for that role. Like, oh my God. And first, I just want to rank like the 1, 2, 3s. So I want to say like the first movie for me, and the first and third movie are so close. I both give them an 8.5 because one, like Sean Connery and Harrison Ford's dynamic is so great. Oh my God, I could watch like 100 movies with them together because they played father and son perfectly, and I believed every second of it. And freaking, what's his face? What did I just say his name was? What was the father?
Sean Connery.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sick, so I'm like, Sean Connery was freaking brilliant in that. I loved him. So I would say 1 and 2 are hand in hand for me. I will put 1 as number 1, 2 as number 2, and Temple of Doom at number 3. Temple of Doom, I feel like lost its kind of like, footing a little bit. It wasn't like as great as those other ones, but it was not a bad movie in any type of way. It was still a very good movie. My only thing with these is they kind of like made all the women like, there was a certain, vibe going on, and I freaking hated the 2 ladies. Oh my God.
And the
third lady, the third lady was like, okay, like I get it. But anyway, that was like my only issue with those. I freaking love those films. I want to see more. Like I want to rewatch them now because I just loved Harrison Ford.
Well, the good news is there's another one coming down the pipeline, and it stars Harrison Ford.
And then I had recently got a new car, you guys, and then we were deciding what the name was going to be for it, and I named it Indy because, Indiana Jones is just so cool. I can't get over how freaking cool he is.
Yes, we're the kind of nerds that name our cars. But I 100% agree with Cayla. And as far as that lineup, I actually prefer going with Sean Connery as my number 1, and then number 1 is my number 2, Temple Doom number 3. But I think it's because I like the lightheartedness of the films. There's a lot more laughs involved. It was definitely, I don't know, give you, like she said, there's a good dynamic there. And I think Temple of Doom was just straight like adventure mode. It was, really kind of darker out of the three.
Yeah.
Definitely when you had the rituals and they're drinking the blood and basically turning all these kids into like zombies and workers and things. So, but overall, great set of movies. Glad we got to watch it. And I was really kind of interested, Matt. I didn't know if you knew this, but when they were deciding what kind of movie it was going to be, they actually had originally planned for this to be a comedy, and they were considering names like Bill Murray as Indiana Jones
And Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. So
Yeah.
how would that have changed that whole
Wow.
franchise?
It would have been.
It wouldn't have been, nothing against those actors. It wouldn't have been nearly as successful.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
wouldn't.
But,
Harrison Ford is just.
props, and you gotta thank George Lucas, like King of
my
Star Wars and
God.
everything else, and putting this together.
That blows
Props
my
to him.
mind that he created this character based on, archaeologists. No, not archaeologists. Yeah,
Yeah.
archaeologists and stuff. And I just couldn't believe like that. And then also the theme song of this, like I didn't realize was so dang iconic. And then I looked up and I'm like, this dude composed so many scores for so many movies, including Home Alone. And I'm like, oh my God. So it was sorry, we're rambling, but this was one of the coolest sets of movies I've ever watched. And I'm so sad that it took me so long to watch these movies because they were so excellent.
And there's your review of Indiana Jones, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, it was.
I'm
Sorry,
the,
Matt, and your turn. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, I just to throw my 2 cents in on Dr. Jones, is that and this, I'm the controversial one because, and I already know that because I've told other people this and they look at me funny. I actually like 2
Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom. I think that's my number 1. And then I like number 3, Last Crusade, and then I like Raiders last. And I get kind of the opposite of Cayla, but the same way. Nothing against number 1. It's a perfectly good movie. It's just I prefer the darker number 2 story, and then I really like the Sean Connery dynamic of number 3. So that makes, unfortunately, number 1 my 3rd, but 4 is number 4, and it's going to stay there.
It's not even on the list. It's
not even on the list. It doesn't even. It needs to be wiped from existence.
Well, that's what we were talking about. We were like, well, if they're gonna go through making another movie, of course, they are. I wonder if they're gonna do the Halloween Kills type of thing and just make this next one a separate storyline and just forget about number 4. You know what I mean? Because that would make sense.
I would, or they could. Yeah, I would be okay with that. Or even if they don't say, "Hey, we're forgetting it," let's just not acknowledge it. So that way, for people that like 4, because there are some like Seth who like number 4. That so that way you're not upsetting them, and then not that I care about upsetting Indiana Jones 4 fans, but maybe just don't even. It's there if you want it to be, and it's not there if you don't want it to be.
Yeah,
how weird is it that each of us would have each of the different movies as our favorite?
That is kind of crazy, because even Seth number 4, that's crazy. That just tells you about how different we all are as far as our personalities, what our each personality is, which says something about me. It was snakes and monkey brains and zombie children. I watched 2 things. I watched more than that, but I watched 2 new things this week. I watched first on Friday this past week. I watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the new Netflix update reboot sequel thing, and yeah, it was that. It was there. It was good. It wasn't the worst movie of that series, but it was far from the best. I would go further, but we don't need to. I also watched Uncharted with my boy, and that was great. I loved every minute of it. I know some people are quick to jump on it because Sorry, my dog is drinking water. It's obnoxiously loud. What was I saying? Oh, some people are crapping on it because it's not like the games, or it's Tom Holland is not Nathan Drake, which is the character's name in the movie or the game, and he's just playing Spider-Man in another movie, and I didn't get that. I was there for it. It was fun. Yeah, like I went to that movie again. I've played some of the games, but like not like sit from start to finish. But like I didn't get that. I went into it wanting a fun time. It looked like it was going to be a fun movie, and it gave me exactly that. Texas Chainsaw 5 out of 10, Uncharted 8 out of 10. And I want a sequel. Give me all the sequels with that. Mark Wahlberg, who's hit or miss for me, was good here. Him and Tom had a good bounce back and forth dynamic. So there I am with that.
Very good. Well, that's good to hear. I don't really know if we're going to go watch it in the movies. Are we planning on go watching it? Oh, so we're planning on going to see it at some point. I like Tom Holland, I like Mark Wahlberg, and I like the video games too. I don't really have like any expectations as far as
if you don't have any expectations, you might enjoy it. Like here's the thing, just to give you a perspective. I've played very little of the video game, and I'm a Tom Holland fan. I went into it, freaking loved it. My brother Mitchell, shout out, who doesn't watch the show, so he won't see the shout out. Loves the games, is okay with Tom Holland. He doesn't hate Tom Holland. He's just Tom Holland Spider-Man. Went with me to watch this movie, and we both came out with polar opposite views. I loved it. He said it was a terrible movie. I don't know how you could watch the movie and think it was a terrible movie. But anyway, sorry. Back to you, Cayla.
No, you're fine. Well, I guess that wraps us up. We don't know what Seth blah 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 has for us, but
I think Seth said that he saw Uncharted, and he.
Oh yeah, I think he did. But I didn't.
He enjoyed it. Yeah, he enjoyed it, from my understanding.
Oh, good. All right, so we're going to. I don't really have much. I'm trying to look up some news as far as, since Seth's not here. So I'll throw out some stuff I saw this week. So there was some new Stranger Things news that came out that the new season will be split into 2 separate parts. So one will come out, is it May 27th?
It's end of May. It's very soon.
I think it's May 20 something, the first whatever amount of episodes, and they're supposed to be like hour-long episodes, supposed to be really long. And then the second part will come out like July 1st or something like that. So this is, I think the last season came out in 2019. So this is 3 years later. So this is long awaited. I am very excited. I love Stranger Things. And then they announced that season 5 will be the final season to Stranger Things, which is sad for me. But it's nice because I feel like this story does need an ending. At this point, you can only go so far with these kind of things. And I'm looking at some news. I see that looks like Sony cast Spider-Man villain Chameleon for Kraven the Hunter movie. So it actually is that kid that's in White Lotus. Do you ever watch White Lotus? Have you ever watched a TV show? Oh. This kid was he's like some actor. Hold on, let me see if I can find his name. His name is Fred. Oh, sorry, Heckinger. I'm gonna throw one out there. Yeah, Heckinger. And this kid was actually. Did you ever watch Fear Street?
No.
Oh darn, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's see. I'm trying to look. Batgirl set photo teases Tim Burton's Penguin could still be alive as of 8 hours ago, supposedly.
What? Oh boy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm there for that.
See DeVito walking across in his Penguin.
He said he wants to do it. Like he said like he wants to play the Penguin again. And in a world where Michael Keaton's Batman again, I say bring it.
Sky's the limit.
Here's another one. So Thor 4 the villain of Thor 4, Gore's MCU design revealed by the merchandise they just put out. So they revealed the new design for Gore.
Is that the
let's
character
see.
that Christian Bale's playing? You probably
Yes.
don't. It is, okay.
Yep. Let's see, anything else? I don't think so. Not that I know. I'm sure Uncharted was probably the #1 movie at the
Yeah,
box
I was
office
gonna
this
say,
weekend.
Uncharted opened up with $51 million.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And making it the Tom Holland has the #1 and #3 highest grossing movies at the box office right now with
Perfect.
Uncharted and Spider-Man.
But which one was number 2?
I'd have to do some research.
I don't know.
I just thought it was interesting that I know this was probably last week's news, but when Jackass was released in theaters, that it was the first film to dethrone Spider-Man from their run of being top gross at box office for the weekend. So
Of all
great
things.
job to Johnny Knoxville and those guys for taking that back, and I guess they've lost it by now. I have no idea.
I mean, supposedly, Uncharted is sitting at a 90% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, that's good. I mean, yeah, it was a
That's-
really good movie. I think it's really the people that are hardcore fans of the game that are the ones that are saying they don't care for it.
So it looks like the #2 was Dog with Channing Tatum. That
Yeah.
was #2. I don't think I see anything else. Jamie Lee Curtis wraps filming on Halloween Ends, says bittersweet farewell to the franchise after 44 years. So that's kind of, I don't think I have anything else to add, you guys. I did not look in depth, so I'm just trying to scroll through my phone. But yeah, there's some semi kind of news for you guys. We brought some and brought our opinions, definitely. But I guess we are going to go to the stats guy, which is Dan right here. And he's going to tell us a little bit of the stats of this movie, The Princess Bride, and then we will get into actually reviewing this movie. We've actually kind of like chatted a little bit.
I mean, we've reviewed every movie but Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah.
But overall, this movie was released October 9th, 1987 in the United States. It originated in the United States. Isn't that great? Had a budget of $16 million. It grossed $30 million between US and Canada. Worldwide, slightly over that, 30,902,000 with a runtime 1 hour and 38 minutes. And basically what you're getting with this film, an elderly man reads the book The Princess Bride to none other than his grandson, Mr. Fred Savage. So that was pretty cool to see him. His adolescent grandson, the reading of a book which has been passed down within the family for generations. The grandson is sure he won't like the story with a romance at his core. He prefers something with lots of action and no kissing, but he lets his grandfather continue because he doesn't want to hurt his feelings, and the rest is probably what we're going to get into during this review. So super excited to talk about that, but I'm not going to go into too much detail.
What were the ratings?
Oh, I'm sorry. Jeez. Overall, hold on, guys. Just had it. I know it did really well. 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, 8.1 out of 10 for IMDb. Parent previews put it at a 3.5. And then Google users, all you Google 527 people that gave this a rating on Google, 4.5 out of 5 stars on Google.
Sweet. Okay, well, that's a decent. We didn't get the return on that, or it's just the budget?
30 million. The budget was 16.
So it was decent. Okay. So that wasn't too bad. Okay, so I'm gonna kick off this review. Starting with kind of going back to what we had talked about, that we were picking comedies going forth. So I'd never seen this movie. Well, supposedly we talked to my parents this week and we went out to dinner with them. And my mom had said when I was younger that I did watch this movie because she loves this movie. And I'm like, well, I don't remember a freaking thing of this movie. So I'm just going to say, this is my first time watching it and actually remembering it. I wanted to pick something that was comedy. And I have a friend who told me that, hey, this isn't comedy. It's romantic. It's romance, fantasy, and family. And then we look it up and it's like, well, people are saying it's definitely a comedy. And then my mom's saying it's a comedy, my dad's saying it's a comedy, and Dan also. I'm sorry. Well, I thought that was like evident. Like, I'm sorry, I did throw that in there. Dan saying it's a comedy. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to pick this movie because it's one I've wanted to watch for a long time. I've always heard funny things about it. I've always heard good things about it. So I like a certain type of comedy, ones that I usually go to. I want to say that I actually really enjoyed this movie. I did think it was comedy. I think it was comedy, family, romance, fantasy, all of that tied into one. So I wouldn't write it off as not a comedy. And I think it had just the right amount of comedy because of the actors in the movie. I think they are exactly what made it so comedic, and their timing and the fact that you had, shout out, Billy Crystal in it. Short role, small role, but nonetheless, I mean, you had great people in it. Chris Sarandon, I mean, he was fantastic. So my favorite part of this whole movie would be the character Inigo Montoya. He was what stole the show for me. I mean, I love that character now. Like, that character is so freaking awesome. He was the best part of that movie. I didn't really care too much for the whole thing between Buttercup and Wesley. Like, to me, that was just like, it's like, you've seen things like that and it's like overplayed, and it's like, I just didn't care too much. I could have watched a movie or a series just on Inigo and I would have been totally fine, and I think it would have been just as great. What's the guy's name? Mandy Patinkin that played him. He was fantastic. I'm not sure I've ever, but I think he was in some kind of show. What was it? Was it Criminal Minds or something to that? That he's like really famous from. But this was probably the first movie I've actually seen him in, and he was great. Oh my God, he was great. And I say this all the time, but I wish I could just like go to him and we could hang out and be best friends forever, because that'd be like the best. And yeah, he is just going to be one of those characters that sticks with me forever because he's just so iconic, so cool. Rob Reiner, as usual, is freaking fantastic in bringing you and drawing you into a film and creating a world that is so believable, and that you, when the movie turns off, you still think about it and you're still thinking about other things that could happen in that world or what have you. So props to Rob Reiner, because you're freaking awesome, dude. I wish you would come somewhere and I could get your signature or hug you, or just like be like, you made When Harry Met Sally, and you made The Princess Bride, and you were so amazing. But like I said, I will probably watch this like once a year now because it's fantastic. I loved it. I can't say anything more than just, I absolutely freaking loved it. So I'm going to give this movie an 8.5 because I loved it. Rob Reiner, you're so cool. And Inigo Montoya, you're so freaking cool, dude. I'm just jelly. Like, I wish I was like that cool. I wish I was that cool of a person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was my review. I'm sorry, guys.
What did you give it? What'd you give it?
An 8.5.
Okay. Very cool.
I'm just gonna hop in here real quick. I agree with you. They have Rob Reiner did a great job. She said to make a story that's believable. It's so outlandish, but at the same time realistic, and it's so sarcastic, but at the same time slapstick. Like, it takes a lot of elements. It's both sides of the spectrum and a lot of things. I think that's what makes this movie, I don't know, it's weird. It's like a perfect blend of everything. Like you said, a lot of people don't find it to be a comedy. They find it to be a romance, or they find it to be a family, or some people do find it to be a comedy. It fits pretty much every mold you could put it into. It's really great. I agree with you. The casting is great. I'm not going to rehash that, but I love the Inigo Montoya character. It's great. I also loved Benzini. I thought that was hilarious in the end. It's like, never bet a thing of death against a Sicilian. And then he like drops dead. It's kind of like, again, like looking at some of the backstories. So when they did this film, they wanted to be in the sword fight as realistic as possible. So apparently the director spent months researching 17th century sword fighting. And then the characters, the gentleman who played Inigo and the other gentleman, the main
Carrey.
character,
Yeah, Carrey.
he played, or they ended up they had never fenced before in life. They both spent months training on how to fence just for those scenes, which is amazing when you think like, okay, you walk into this movie, you're just bringing your acting talent, you're walking out with like all new skill sets. So that's kind of cool. But outside of that, they wanted to, this would have been a casted role for Arnold Schwarzenegger in the place of Andre the Giant. And how crazy is it with his character? I think my favorite scene with him is when they're scaling the mountainside and he's just going up like hand over hand, just pulling himself up with the guy or the lady and the guy on his back, which is crazy. Also, the gentleman who played Vizzini, what's his name?
I have no idea.
Paul.
I have no idea.
I hate to fail him. Sean, it's his first name. Last name Sean. I can't remember. Wallace Shawn. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wallace Shawn. If this ever reaches you, I think you did great in the film. I just couldn't remember your name. But as far as like his role, that would have gone to Danny DeVito.
Wow.
They were looking at him as a potential character, but ultimately, I think they ended up with the best cast they could have. It always plays out that way. I know, but interesting character choices. But overall, great movie. Overall, I think I'd put this movie at about maybe a 7.5 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. Would watch it again. But thank you for the pick.
All right, Matt. Well, that brings it to you.
Very cool. It took me years to watch this movie. It took me decades to watch this movie. For decades, I've had people telling me to watch this movie, or you're the movie guy and you haven't seen Princess Bride. What is wrong with you? That's the kind of talk I've been given for decades. So it took this show to finally make me sit down and watch it. And I resisted it, and I didn't think it would be anything at all that would interest me. I mean, can you blame me? Look, I mean, just look at the title. But I will say right now that I really liked this movie. It's got everything you'd want. Action, adventure, sword fighting, romance. It's quotable, which who doesn't love a good movie that you can quote a million times? It's a near perfect movie. The story itself is, Dan mentioned, it's kind of like a play within a play. The main story is the grandfather reading to his grandson who's homesick, played by Fred Savage, who I completely forgot was such a good child actor. Like, I grew up watching The Wonder Years and then his brother on Boy Meets World. Gosh, I was like, Fred Savage, and he was good. Like I don't know, like you don't see a lot of like good child actors these days. You got Jacob Tremblay and a couple others maybe, but like you don't see good child actors. And not that Fred Savage did anything spectacular here, but sit in the bed. But like it's just like he was believable. I believed that he was that little boy that didn't want to hear about the kissing parts and so on and so forth. So much so that I even after this ended, I went and had a Fred Savage double feature, and I went and watched the movie Little Monsters.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Howie Mandel. I hadn't seen that in a very, very, very long time either. And so it was just like a Fred Savage day for me, and I was there for it. It was 80s. It was everything that I liked. The story's great. The actors are top notch, including Andre the Giant, who plays the giant. Mandy Patinkin, as you mentioned, I guess I'm saying that right, as Montoya, delivers my favorite line of the whole movie, probably my favorite scene of the whole movie. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Inigo Montoya, you killed my father. Prepare to die. Inigo Montoya, you killed my father. Prepare to die. Stop saying that!
Carrie Elwes and Robin Wright, you know, they're just as good here. I've always been a Carrie Elwes fan. So it was good seeing him in something new. Billy Crystal and Carol Kane stole the show. Crystal is completely unrecognizable. Some scenes for me lagged a little bit, but all in all, it was a wonderful movie that I think should be seen by everyone. And I cannot recommend it enough. I am going to give this movie a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Wow. Oh my gosh, you guys. And
Huh.
look, we actually have a rogue Seth Curtis joining us.
Oh,
Who
he
just
just
woke
dropped.
up
Hey.
from a nap, you guys. He just woke up from a nap. Can you tell?
We don't have to put him on the milk carton after all.
No, we don't.
So guys, fun fact, just for Seth, because he's here and he looks like this, and he just reminded me. So Carrey, when he gets hit in the back of the head with the sword, knocked out in the movie. So just FYI, they had filmed that scene multiple times, and the actor that was doing it to him was scared that he didn't want to hurt him. And the director's like, just do it one time. And then Carrey's like, yeah, man, just bop me a little bit and be fine. He literally got knocked out in that scene.
Wow.
So, and they kept that. That is him getting knocked out in the movie. And that's what Seth reminds me of, is him getting knocked out and then coming back too. So thank you, Seth, for bringing that fun fact to us.
You're welcome.
That's that wake up deep morning voice that you got it late at night. Just to recap, you, Cayla, you were at a
8.5.
Dan, you were at a
7.5.
and I'm at a 9. So Seth, tell us about The Princess Bride.
Yes.
Okay,
And then
so
hold on, and then you can fill us in with the news, because we kind of half butt the
Right.
news. So
well, my morning voice isn't going to last much longer, so please let me speak.
go ahead, sir.
So it's one of my dad's like all-time favorite movies, and he was very excited when I turned it on yesterday, and I told him about last week when we had to watch it. So he was all pumped for me to watch it and hear my thoughts on it. And I already knew, no matter what I said, if it wasn't an 11 out of 10, he wasn't going to be happy with my score. So right now, I'm pretty sure he's quite mad at me because I gave it an 8 out of 10. And I enjoyed it. It's not necessarily like something I'm like, this is the greatest thing on the face of the planet.
Wait,
I like is it Inigo Montoya? He's
Yep.
fantastic. Loved him quite a bit. It's just like fantasy is not necessarily my kick. And doesn't say I didn't enjoy this. It's just wasn't as good as maybe he had hoped it would have been. Yeah, 8 out of 10 I think is really fair for it, and I'm sure I'll watch it again. Like, it's one of those you should watch it multiple times, but I just didn't fall in love with it. But yes, so on to the news. Give me
8's
one
very
second.
good. I mean, 8's very good.
Yeah, it is. And I
Dan
think
gave it a
the
7.5.
Yeah,
well, the
Dan.
general consensus is that everybody loved Inigo Montoya. That was their favorite character. So that's excellent.
well, how could it not be?
I know, he's like the best character.
Prepare to die.
I love when he's like, "Are they using the same wind as us?" Like, it just like that killed me. That killed me. Okay. Anyway, news. It was a very lackluster news week this week compared to the last two, which I guess is good because I won't be talking as much anymore. But Peacemaker is getting a season 2, which I'm very excited about. It was a fantastic season 1, so bring it on, James Gunn. I'm there for it. Sticking with John Cena news, John Cena is going to play the villain in the new Wile E. Coyote movie called Coyote versus Acme. So
Like a voice?
Is this
Is
going
he
to
the
be live
voice?
action? Yeah, what is this?
I don't remember, and I don't know. So
Hopefully
Live
voice.
Not there for
action.
it. Not there for it.
okay. Anyway, yeah, if you're like me, you probably grew up and you watched a couple episodes of Arthur. Well, there will be no more new Arthur episodes because as of last night, Arthur has ended after 25 seasons.
I saw
So,
that.
Yes.
I was reading about that today, that there was like a Entertainment Weekly review of the final episode, which I didn't even know was happening. But
I didn't either.
I know something we forgot to say if he doesn't say it.
Anyway, I'm sure I already know what you're all going to talk about, and I didn't include it. And then, I don't know, Fred Hetchinger, he joins the Craven the Hunter movie as Chameleon. So that movie is getting quite the cast. So that's all I have. So Dan, Cayla, what did I forget?
So listen here, guys. So there's this new trend in Hollywood, which seems to be, let's bring back a lot of the old, mix it in with the new, throw it in a pot, and call it something fantastic. And guess what? It's been working really well. And this whole thing about Arthur brings one thing to mind. I don't know if any of you guys were fans of the TV show Blue's Clues growing up,
Oh,
but hey,
Really?
oh, absolutely. I watched
Dude, I love Blue's Clues. man.
Steve was my Blue's
Steve
Clues.
was the best.
And
I was too old.
they are bringing, well, you may have been too old, but for those of you who are in the fans, and 3, 4, 5 of you there are, they are bringing out a live action movie with all 3 of the hosts from Blue's Clues will be in it. I'm not sure how they're doing Blue in this yet, but
The same as always. It's like how Josh has, no, not Josh. What's the newest dudes? There's
Joe
Steve. It's Josh.
and Josh.
It's how Josh has her in the show.
Okay, so as far as that goes, I just picture that there's going to be like a mix of like 20, 30 somethings, and then it's going to be like a whole bunch of kids, and the kids are going to get really excited, and then all the adults are just going to be like, look, it's me, you got to get out of here, we're trying to watch Steve. But that's just
Gonna be
where I'm
me.
at.
I'm gonna be there.
But yeah, but that's where I'm at. That's my
I love
addition to the
Steve.
news.
Yeah.
No,
And we
let's-
I
already,
thought that was fake. Like I was like, because I saw something about like Into the Blues verse or something like that, and I was like, okay, that just looks ridiculous and fake. So I skipped over it. Can't believe that's actually a real thing. That's something.
What news did you think Dan and I were gonna comment on?
I heard some rumblings about something in Stranger Things, and when I looked it up,
We
I
already
just
I
commented
already
on
did
it.
that.
we
Yeah.
already reported it.
would because I didn't really read what was actually going on with Stranger
Well,
Things.
it's too bad, Seth. That is your next homework. is
Sorry, you
watch Stranger
slept
Things.
through.
Yeah, you slept through it.
I am
We're
so
gonna have
sorry.
a,
Mother.
we're gonna have to have a TV themed week or something just so Seth can watch Stranger Things.
He'll be like,
I'm not watching
it's
that.
sci-fi and fantasy. It's just not my thing. That's what he do.
Give it a
I'm like,
1 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a 1 out of 10 for the effort. I'll be like, okay, Seth.
I'll
My
never
dad has been
sacrifice
telling
the
me for the
integrity
past
of my
2
review.
days since I gave it an 8 out of 10. Like I got home from work and they were watching Mrs. Doubtfire, and my dad he rated it 4.5 out of 5. He's like, this is basically a 1.5 in a set scale. And I was like, what are you talking about?
He rated
It's not
Mrs. Doubtfire 4
4.5,
out of 10?
5?
5.
Out of
Oh,
5.
okay. I was like, okay, that makes more sense.
This is the voodoo scale we're talking about here, Matt.
I was about to have to go to Virginia and whoop some ass.
I don't know. I guess I'm gonna be on the crap list here when your dad sees I gave it a 7.5, Seth. So maybe
yeah.
take
You might want to run. I'm just saying.
You're
You
dead.
might want to run.
Well,
I
kudos
still hear
to,
about my
like,
two-hand Luke review. I still hear about it. He's like, yeah, I can't believe someone gave Cool Hand Luke an 8 out of 10. And yeah. So Dan, Cayla, you and I, we are on his crap list. Just
Wait,
because of
did
that
I
one.
give Cool Hand Luke an 8?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
He
shit,
yeah,
but I
lets me hear
love
about
it
it.
though.
I think
That
that's
doesn't
one.
mean
I liked it too.
What did
I
I end up
know.
giving it? Was it a 9 or a 10?
I don't remember. All I know is that I hear about how me and Cayla gave it an 8, and he's just pissed.
Well, here's the thing. Well, kudos, because we say this, I think, every single episode. Kudos to Mr. Curtis, because obviously, if one of his favorite movies is Princess Bride, then he's doing something right.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's cool.
He's got good taste in
Yeah,
movies.
he obviously
man.
does. Like and his range is like great. So
He needs
And
to-
did you tell him
he
that
does
we ended up
crazy
watching White Boy Rick? Did you tell him that we watched that?
I did. He was tickled to death to hear you all enjoyed that.
it was
So.
very good.
We really just need to make him a regular part of the show. Like he needs to be the
know.
fourth square.
I have tried.
Aw,
Well,
we'll keep
He's
shouting
the
him out.
guy in the other room.
He's
That's
like,
his.
I'm bad about like oversleeping and missing a meeting. He's always asleep, so he'll never be here.
I've never seen him asleep. So
That's because you've only been in my house twice.
That would be really creepy, Matt. If
he was
like,
awake
considered
both times I was there. So
He just comes over and he's like,
That's honestly a record for him. I'm not even kidding with you.
yeah, he was up pretty late last time I was over there. Like it was like 11 or something.
And that's good for him.
Yeah.
It's like either, well, you know why he's up late? Because he took a nap earlier, probably. Because
Oh,
he
probably.
takes a nap and he's like, I can't sleep. So he's up till 3 a.m. and wakes the next day. He's just ticked. And I'm like, dude, if you would just sleep at night, you wouldn't be so angry. But it's a vicious cycle.
All right, so I'm gonna go over what we rated it real quick, just so we can get a quick recap. So I put it at 8.5. Dan, you put it at A.
7.5.
Matt put it at A.
9.
And Seth had it at A.
8.
8. So I feel like that's a really good positive review from everybody. So thank you everybody for enjoying the movie. I really enjoyed it. That was awesome. I'm glad we're doing comedy because it's time for a good, good laugh and pick me up. So Dan is our next comedy pick and he will tell you what he's going to pick.
All right, guys. So I wanted to go for something that I like. And I had to think really hard about, what that was.
What do I
was
like? Not much.
Yeah. I really liked, I was thinking My Cousin Vinny might have been one with Joe Pesci. And then I got to thinking about my childhood and specifically comedy. And I was like, what actor specifically would I say shaped comedy for me coming up? So I really, really, really love Jim Carrey. And I thought, what films did I enjoy with him? I know a lot of people aren't fans of The Mask. I know that Cayla is a huge fan of Me, Myself, and Irene. And I was thinking, like, what Jim Carrey movie do I think, like, captures Jim Carrey? And honestly, I think out of all of his movies, I went with Liar, Liar. Yeah. What?
What?
Why are you freaking out, man?
I'm having a seizure over here. Okay.
Why?
You should have the
You,
script take that he did.
You can tell we didn't discuss beforehand because next week my pick was going to be Liar, Liar.
Damn.
That's great.
And what's
Matt.
funny is I was going to pick Liar, Liar as well.
No, you freaking weren't.
And Cayla's
I mean, I was
first
thinking
pick was
about it. I was
actually
like,
Liar,
someone's
Liar.
going to pick that. There's no way that someone's not going to pick that. So
That is
was like
easily Jim Carrey's best movie. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, it's great.
But I'm
I'm sorry
excited.
to put
We
you-
still get to talk about it, so I'm excited. I'll pick something
Yeah.
else.
Awesome. I'm sorry to put you out, but really looking forward to this. I think I agree with Matt. Jim Carrey probably in his element. I think that there are a lot of actors involved in this that made it a great movie. A lot of scenes that are iconic, especially in comedy. And it's one of those that you just can't, go through a comedy week without trying to talk about. At least not talking about Jim Carrey. That would be sacrilegious. So, but looking forward to doing that with you guys and kicking it back over to your host.
Ooh, well, thank you. Since we're all just liar, liar lovers, that is going to be our next week's pick. But we are ending this episode. I don't think, does anybody else have anything they want to pitch in there?
Should we announce our plan going forward, for at least for a little while, like what we talked about before we went on?
Yeah.
And update Seth because he wasn't here.
Yeah, we can do that. Do you
I can do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you want to.
We were
Yeah.
talking and how this comedy. Sorry, I drew a blank. It's been a long day, folks. Unless you're watching this Thursday morning, then it's been a long morning. We were talking how and I think we all are enjoying like the theme. I mean, this is only week 1, but the theme of like this week it's a comedy round and we have to pick a comedy movie. I think that changes it up, it spices it up a lot. So I suggested maybe we do that for a while, like we talked about doing the Mother's Day thing as it gets closer. So that could be a theme, but like each rotation, like still do the rotation, Cayla, Dan, Matt, Seth, but have a theme. So like this rotation is comedy. Next rotation could be horror. Next rotation could be James Bond. Next rotation could be Tim Burton. Whatever the theme is. And I think that would spice it up and give it, interesting. So we're not just like, oh, what do we pick? We give it, have to really kind of narrow it down. And it gives you, it also helps provide the viewers, all 12 of you, more insight as to who we are and what our personality is and what our taste is. Like we were talking about the Indiana Jones thing, how it's ironic that each of us have a different favorite Indiana Jones movie, and we each
Wait, Seth, 1 through 4, what's your favorite Indiana Jones movie?
Last Crusade.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, look, but hey, you're on Team Dan, so that's a winning team.
I pegged you as a Crystal Skull guy.
I really, really enjoy Crystal Skull, but it's not my favorite.
Okay. I just thought we were talking about how it was kind of crazy that we each like, because I like 2, Cayla likes 1, Dan likes 3, and I thought you liked 4. So I was like, like Dan said, we each like each one of the ones as our favorite.
Did I ever tell you guys that I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark in the theater when it replayed a few months ago?
Oh,
wow.
I was gonna say in the 80s?
Yes, I went back in time. But no, they replayed Raiders a few months ago, and I was like, I gotta go. I mean, like, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm going. And it was really, really cool to watch that one in theaters. I really enjoyed that.
I wish he had that same enthusiasm when it came to watching movies with us in person in Maryland. I don't care what I'm doing, I'm going.
Matt, I don't want to hear it. You told me not to come this weekend. So
Sorry, what? Who?
you said, I suggest you do not come. I was like, well, dang, okay, I won't visit.
Oh, we're gonna air the dirty laundry on the air. Okay, so no.
Oh yeah, we're gonna air it. We're gonna air it.
So Seth was talking about coming to Maryland this weekend. This weekend.
Yes.
And he said he gets off at 5 o'clock or something Saturday.
Yes.
And I said, well, I mean, you can, and I would love to see you. I mean, you're welcome. But if it were me and I were you and we were each other, I wouldn't, because leaving at 5 o'clock on a Saturday, I mean, any day really, but leaving at 5 o'clock, I mean, it might not be as bad on a Saturday really, but I mean, you're going to hit a lot of traffic, more so than you would if you left early. And you're going to be miserable. A 2-hour, 2.5-hour trip could easily turn into a 4 or 5 hour trip. And it's happened to me before. And I'd hate to have you do that just to come here to see me or us. And, the next day or something, have to turn around and leave to go back. So I just think it would be worth it to plan a better day when you can like take a PTO day or something and like come and actually stay a little longer than just long enough to sleep and then turn around and go back.
Fine.
Yeah, he didn't look too impressed by that, but
But hey, I'll be here if you want to come. Come on, big boy. I'm here.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I'll be your Huckleberry, and I will share my location with you, so you'll know exactly where I am.
He's like, he already knows. He's got a low jack on you.
No, but anyway, sorry, we went on a huge tangent there. So
are we still recording? Oh crap!
We are still recording. This is still on. This is going to be on Thursday's episode. So Dan mentioned that we should put on the themes on a wheel, and I just so happen, because I'm a nerd like that, have a spin wheel, like a physical spin wheel, not some electronic thing, like a physical spin wheel. So we're going to take this week, and we're going to each come up with themes, ideas, and we'll get that put together. And by the time that Seth picks his comedy movie, we will definitely have that together by then, and we'll pick the next theme, and I'm excited for it.
So let's put this out
Big
there.
spin it.
So this is fair and nice and cool and everything. So let us know how many spots we have on this wonderful wheel, and maybe we each put in, like, we'll divide it up evenly, and we can each put in.
I like that.
X amount.
I'll have to I'll have to look at it and count, and I'll get back to you.
Swear to God, Seth, if you put freaking Mad Max
it's
as a
gonna
No,
theme,
it'll be Mel Gibson movies or something.
It
Oh,
will
that
be
would
Mel
be. I'd rather
Gibson.
have that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Mel Gibson.
I'd rather have Mel Gibson.
I mean, we've already watched Bloodfather, so we can't do Bloodfather. So, but and we've already watched Mad Max.
Now you've given him ideas. Now he's gonna do like just all Mel
No,
Gibson.
I actually had no idea I wanted to do that. Only thing I had in my mind was like, well, they're all saying like, let's watch a drama or let's watch a comedy or horror, and I was like, let's watch action. Let's pick an action flick. But
Yeah.
I mean,
You can be
we
more.
do
You can be
that.
more specific. Like you could be.
yeah, you
like,
can. Yeah,
90s action
yeah.
or something like that.
80s, not
92
80s action, just
action.
80s.
20s,
80s action
1920,
movie.
black and white, no sound.
Or-
Silent film action.
Or Kevin Costner's
Ooh.
film, or what is it called? Oscar-winning performances or something like that.
Mm.
I might put that in there.
Leonardo DiCaprio's non-Oscar winning performances.
yeah,
Which is all of them
every-
except for one.
all but one. The one you
The
like.
one that you would
really-
never expect.
I
it to
know
go
that he
for.
should have won beforehand, but oh my god. I guess that bear really helped him out.
I don't think it helped him.
It did. He won that.
That bear didn't help him at all in that movie.
That movie was
No.
tragic.
Don't give that bear
Did you all
credit.
know that? And actually, they were just filming like behind the scenes on that set, and then that bear just happened to walk over and just maul Leonardo DiCaprio, and then they were just like, "Well, let's keep filming." So technically, the bear did help him out.
And Leo's a really good actor,
That-
so he's like, I'm dying, guys. Like, oh my god, he's such a good actor.
No,
Yeah,
to
right?
me, that is like one of his like not as this is my opinion, not as good performances. I feel like he should have won way before The Revenant. And I don't know, it's just a little disappointing that The Revenant happened to be his Oscar award winning performance. You know what I
It's
mean?
still a good
Just for
movie, but
me.
it's not as good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just for me, it just, I don't know. That's a little thing I'm disappointed about. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna fake spin the wheel. So you better pick out your move for fake spinning. Do like the Price is Right, like type of spin, like really put into it, or you could just do your little like flicky flick.
But
whichever
guys,
does that.
don't forget, if you're not already following us, please tune in at Picture This Film Reviews on Instagram.
Yeah.
Picture This Film Reviews on Facebook. Studio what, Matt?
YouTube.com/Studio29Films.
Right. And yeah, please like, please comment, please share or participate in some of the polls that we put on Instagram too. We'll be putting some more stuff up this week coming soon. And
Like
yeah,
Cayla's
just
doing a really good
interactions.
job on the Instagram, and she's putting up the Answer This segments. So a lot of cool things you get to see into our little windows of what we like. I think the last rotation we talked about who our favorite actors were. Who's that in the background? Uh-oh.
A cat?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Hi. But yeah, Answer This. So you're gonna be putting more up this week
Yeah,
too, right?
so yep, I'll start tomorrow. I was supposed to start a little later, but I was sick, but I'm feeling better. So we're gonna start tomorrow, and then Thursday we will post. We're gonna try to Thursday is our day for releasing the episodes, and then so day after that will be the Answer This, and we'll take a short little break in the weekends. But yeah. So just stay tuned. If you have any questions, that you want to hear from us, or if you enjoy our videos, please send us a message or a like or what have you. And we really enjoy all the content interaction and all that kind of jazz. But I'm going to pass this off to Matt because he usually closes out the episode for us. And what a wonderful episode it was to finally be joined by Seth, who woke up from a nap. Oh my God.
Hey,
I'm
that
sorry.
morning voice was sexy. I gotta give it to you.
I woke up and I was like, I didn't look at my phone. I was just like, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, we gave you some time and we're like, oh, let's give him 5 more minutes. And then he was like, not 5 minutes. And we're like, well, we got to start. Anyway, thank you for joining us, Seth. Thank you.
I
Matt.
am sorry.
No, you're all good. And Matt, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Everybody watch Liar Liar. It is streaming on Hulu. I know this because I was going to pick it. Have a great week. Watch all the Instagram videos. Follow us on everything. And of course, everybody love one another.
Bye.
See you guys.